Imagine a world where the fastest shipping routes aren't through the Suez Canal or the Panama Canal, but through the Arctic. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what's happening. As climate change melts ice that once made these waters impassable, new pathways are opening up, and they're rewriting the global shipping map. Trade has been the commerce of the world for centuries now, but it is a trade depending on only a few shipping lanes, all of which have carved pathways into economies, determined the prices of goods, and influenced the world. Cargo movements have only proved that the sea is the backbone of commerce in the world, from Asia to Europe, from the Americas to Africa. But here's the catch. These traditional shipping routes were designed for a world with stable coastlines, predictable weather, and a relatively unchanging climate. Now that's all shifting. Rising temperatures, melting ice, and extreme weather events are disrupting everything. And the consequences, they're bigger than most people realize. For centuries, the Arctic Ocean has been an impassable frozen wall, thereby denying entry to commercial shipping within its waters. But now there is an alarming change taking place in the region. The Arctic is warming nearly 4 times faster than the rest of the world, which has led to the unprecedented loss of sea ice. Indeed, some predict that parts of the Arctic may be ice-free during the summer by 2035, and that means something that was once denied as impossible, ships sailing straight through the Arctic, is now becoming a reality. At first glance, this might seem like an economic win. Shorter routes mean lower fuel costs, faster delivery times, and a potential shakeup of the world's most important trade routes. But the reality is more complicated. With new opportunities come new challenges, and not everyone is prepared for what's coming. The major beneficiary of the melting Arctic deposits is Russia itself. The Northern Sea Route, NSR, lined along the northern coastline of Russia, saves a sailing time of about 2 weeks between Asia and Europe compared to the Suez Canal. In such a case, the government of Russia invests billions of dollars for the improvement of infrastructure, icebreaker ships, and military presence that will help the commercial viability of this route. In 2023, cargo traffic on the Northern Sea Route has seen an upsurge, and Russia envisions making it a mainstream path as an alternative to classical ones. But that is much easier said than done. The Arctic plays coy with unpredictability, ice that can be in your way one moment and gone the next, sudden extreme storms, and a lack of developed port facilities. To add more to this, the geopolitical situation dictates that Western companies aren't comfortable with an over-reliance on a route that is in the hands of Russia. Provided that Arctic melting continues at the current rate, another potential route, the Transpolar Sea Route, TSR, is likely to arise that will cut due north across the center of the Arctic Ocean. The NSR may be an international passage since no country claims it alone. However, the introduction of the TSR is far more uncertain. It runs very much on ice-free summers, and average climate variability can besiege the route with freezing conditions, blocking navigation and trapping vessels, making any chances of rescue almost impossible. Further, there are worries about the impacts on environmental pollution, as these waters contain very fragile ecosystems, and any oil spill or industrial accident could be catastrophic. What does it mean for global trade? If shipping lanes in the Arctic become fully operational, the volume of traffic through the Suez and Panama Canal would likely decrease. As such, their economies may suffer as trade hub countries of the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Central America receive less trade proceeds. In doing so, such countries can geopolitically alter the balance of power in the world, possibly giving some advantages to Arctic bordering nations like Russia, Canada, and the United States concerning global trade. But the risks are just as significant. The Arctic is still a harsh and unpredictable place, and climate change itself is what's making these new routes possible. The big question is, are we prepared for the consequences of exploiting a rapidly changing environment?
From Hurricane Nicole clawing away at the shore in Daytona Beach, homes crumbling into the sea within 12 hours.
Nicole is still just a tropical storm. People say still, but there are always unique fingerprints from each of these.
To the surge of Hurricane Ian swallowing Southwest Florida's barrier islands.
The world's busiest ports that were built were assumed to be with stable sea levels. That assumption is now being proved wrong. Global warming is melting glaciers and ice sheets at a concerning rate, which is rising sea levels faster than any predictions have indicated. Scientists generally agree that projections could see a rise of 3 feet or even more by 2100, with such slight increments being catastrophic for low-lying coastal cities. More than 80% of world trade is seaborne, almost entirely depending on a handful of major coastal ports. Port cities like Shanghai, New York, Rotterdam, and Singapore have always been major subjects of the world's economy. They are now faced with an uncertain future due to rising sea levels. The existing threats of flooding, land subsidence, and saltwater incursion are likely to thwart the usefulness of many facilities. In some locations, the waters are already affecting operations. Therefore, the government in Jakarta, Indonesia, is spending billions of dollars moving the capital city away from forthcoming floods. Tidal flooding periodically shuts down some of the port approach roads in Miami, Florida, while in Bangladesh, coastal waters are invading the land, causing devastation in key shipping areas. Should some of the major ports fall into disuse or need expensive renovation, global trade might see astronomical losses. According to the World Bank, climate disruptions could set back the global economy by over $1 trillion a year by the year 2050. The ports will have to raise seawalls, put in flood defenses, and even account for relocation strategies. These costs will also flow down to the businesses and consumers. But there is another hidden factor: supply chain bottlenecks. Major port flooding can cause massive delays in shipments worldwide, just like it was in the case of the Suez Canal disruption in 2021 by Ever Given container ship. Now imagine this kind of disruption permanently affecting multiple key ports across the globe. Governments and port authorities are therefore hastily adapting. Some cities build floating ports that can rise with the water, while others go for climate-resilient infrastructure. But the truth is that these solutions are costly and that a lot of developing countries simply do not have the resources. With the continuous rise of sea levels, one thing is clear: the coastal infrastructure was not built in preparation for this future. The world's trade network is trembling, and if there are no major investments in the future, this will be the greatest crisis ever in the shipping industry. The uncertain weather all through the ages has posed challenges to the global shipping industry. But climate change has now wrought havoc with storms, making them harsher, more recurrent, and more destructive. As the waters of the ocean become warm, energy rises available for hurricanes, typhoons, cyclones, strengthening winds, torrenting waves, and calamitous storm surges, all threats to maritime operations. With Hurricane Harvey in 2017, not only did he wreak havoc upon Texas, but he also brought the port of Houston to its knees, one of the busiest in the U.S., for weeks of blocking oil and container shipments. Typhoon Rai in 2021 wreaked havoc in the Philippines, causing widespread port closures and supply chain disruptions across Southeast Asia. The destruction caused by Hurricane Ian in the southeastern U.S. in 2022 has been estimated in billions of dollars, with cargo shipping put on hold for several months. The International Union of Marine Insurance has noted that weather-related damages suffered by shipping vessels in the last 10 years have gone up by a whopping 30%. Increasing risk means higher premiums charged for insurance on shipping companies, and such an increase in cost will eventually be passed on to the consumer. And then there's port damage. As storms intensify, ports need stronger defenses, from flood barriers to reinforced piers, adding billions in infrastructure costs worldwide. The industry is now at a crossroads: either adapt to this new reality or suffer continuous and costly disruptions. Melting Arctic ice alters geopolitics as fast as the warming climate. The Arctic shows itself as the most important leg of the Belt and Road Initiative for Beijing to reorganize global trade towards benefiting China. Although the US and its allies are following this closely, tensions continue to escalate. Washington tells its soldiers to increase military exercises in the Arctic, while NATO beefs up its presence in Northern Europe. The worry? That Russian-Chinese challenge will deny Western nations access to Arctic trading routes and resources, leaving open only Russian terms. But the melting Arctic waters now open an area scrambling for territory, resources, and influence. With overlapping compliance, the posturing of militaries, and economic interests heightened to new heights, the real question now is the nation going to fight over the Arctic? With the continuous melting of the ice in different sections of the Arctic due to climate change, shipping activity will see an exponential increase during the early summer months. More traffic implies more chances of oil spills, ship emissions, and underwater noise pollution, which is yet another pressure on an already disturbed Arctic ecosystem. Most importantly, oil spill cleanup operations are vastly inadequate in the Arctic when compared to temperate regions. In the Arctic, whales, seals, and polar bears, together with many fish species, are dependent on stable ice conditions. Increased shipping noise also interferes with whale communication and their migratory paths. Melting ice forces polar bears to go farther to seek food, leading to human-wildlife conflicts. For indigenous groups, Inuit, Sami, and Chukchi Arctic is more than a home. It is a way of life. Traditional hunting, fishing, and herding customs, which have been handed down through centuries, are now threatened by changing ice conditions that make traditional hunting routes hazardous, if not altogether inaccessible. Alternatively, with several states now vying for Arctic superiority, many indigenous communities fear being set aside when it comes to decisions regarding their ancestral lands. The Northern Sea Route and Transpolar Sea Route could reduce the time by thousands of miles off conventional shipping routes, thus saving fuel time and money. Economic benefits. A shorter Asia-Europe route via NSR could cut travel time by 40% compared to the Suez Canal. Lower fuel consumption reduces carbon emissions and operational costs, and Arctic resource exploration will boom global supply chains. Challenges not to be neglected. High costs are incurred due to the need for specialized ice-class vessels. Search and rescue activities in the Arctic continue to remain primitive, and ice conditions are unpredictable. The shipping industry is developing several new technologies to navigate thinning but unpredictable ice conditions for safe Arctic navigation. Next-generation vessels with ice hulls are to be realized under development to withstand Arctic rigors. Carbon emissions are minimized through year-round navigation with LNG-powered icebreakers like Russia's Arktika class. Satellites offer real-time ice mapping, enabling ships to steer clear of dangerous ice formations. Using weather prediction models powered by artificial intelligence, routing decisions are made to reduce delays resulting from extreme weather settings. Cargo vessels designed to navigate themselves toward minimizing human error and maximizing safety in treacherous waters are being tested. Machine learning methods investigating the trending of ice movement assist vessels to withstand sudden changes in the conditions of the Arctic. With the advancement in technologies focused on shipping, it is expected that Arctic shipping will have a bright future. However, regulatory oversight and environmental considerations are still a necessity. Changes to climate conditions are redrawing the shipping industry map, forcing the industry to test and adapt to handle new realities. The melting Arctic ice provides access to shorter shipping lanes and trade routes, yet it is encumbered with geopolitical tensions, environmental issues, and logistical bottlenecks. Meanwhile, rising sea levels and extreme weather events threaten large swathes of traditional ports and maritime infrastructure, disrupting global trade with huge economic costs. To handle these changes, international cooperation is key. Governments, shipping companies, and environmental groups should work together to put forward clear regulations for the industry, invest in sustainable technologies, and enhance their capability to react to future disruptions. The Polar Code must be strengthened, and Arctic governance must be clarified to avoid disputes regarding access to new trade routes. Innovation, ship design, AI for navigation, and satellite monitoring are all being utilized to improve safety and efficiency in Arctic shipping. But with that, the industry must emphasize sustainability to offset the possible impact of increased traffic on fragile ecosystems. The way we move goods across the world is changing, and climate change is at the heart of it. The choices made today will determine whether these shifts lead to opportunity or crisis. What do you think? Should nations compete for control of Arctic routes, or should they work together to ensure a balanced, sustainable future? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's biggest global shifts. Stay tuned for the next one,